Greetings. My name is Bryan Duggan, and thank you for coming to my talk, Unlocking Student Creativity with Godó. Yeah, so cool. I'll get started. My name is Bryan Duggan. I am a computer scientist, musician. Also, I play the flute, traditional Irish music. And I'm an artist. I make visual art for festivals and for... with computer programs, and also I invent things as well. And if we have time, I maybe show you one of my newest inventions, which is called Square Wave, play music with holograms. And yeah, this is just, okay, let's see, we'll get into it. So I am a lecturer, also senior lecturer in TU Dublin. TU Dublin is Ireland's largest third level institution. There's over around, 30,000 students in the university. We have 5 campuses across the city of Dublin in Ireland. And I teach in Central Quad in Grange Gorman, which is, in my opinion, the most beautiful university campus in Europe right now. Our university just spent $1 billion euro on this beautiful new campus, which we moved into in 2022. So this is Central Quad, where I teach. On the ground floor, we've got culinary, and then we're on the second floor there, computer science. There's also physics and maths and chemistry, environmental science in this building as well. And this is East Quad, also where I teach. And this is the Applied Arts and Media building. So this is where we do game design, film and TV and broadcasting, and drama and music as well. So I teach across both schools. I'm in the School of Computer Science in my main school. I also teach in the game design degree. And I'm one of the founder members of the BA in Game Design program, which has been running in the university now for 12 years. And I've been teaching games, programming, development for well over 20 years. Lots of different technologies. Started out with C++ and built my own engine, which was used for many years, called BGE. You can still get it on GitHub. It's up there. And it lots of forks from students who did work with it. This is our concert hall in TU Dublin. So we have a beautiful 400-seater concert hall. It's a state-of-the-art campus. Absolutely gorgeous. Come and visit. If you're in Dublin, look me up and I'll give you a tour. So as I say, I'm teaching about 25 years in the School of Computer Science, and I teach lots of different things. I love teaching. It's kind of my life, really. So I teach on the Computing Academy, which is for high school students every year. And then I have the most amazing set of module descriptors you could imagine. I wrote them all, really. Creative coding. Who knows what creative coding is all about? Yeah? Cool. Creative coding is all about making art with code. So it's about drawing and sound and color, and it's a sort of an introductory module to give people broad, digital skills. So they learn about color, they learn about sound, they learn about music, and of course they're learning about coding as well. And I used to use lots of different technologies, processing for many years, and my students did hundreds of projects in processing, picking pieces of music and doing storytelling around music. And now they're making musical instruments. And I switched all my modules over to Godó for creative coding. It's brilliant for creative coding. And then I also teach modules in the 3rd and 4th year, and also on the master's program, which will be, the modules used to be called Game Engines 1 and Game Engines 2, but now they're called Extended Reality, which is about building things for headsets. And in particular, things that are like in the digital realm, but the physical realm as well. So you can see some of the projects that we've created using this sort of like idea. This is the design of headset we use on that module, by the way. They're Quest 3s, but we removed the faceplate from the Quest 3, and also we use this super cool head strap thing here. So it's very low friction. You just put it on your head. You don't have to strap yourself in or anything. And this is what we use on the extended reality module. And students are making all kinds of brilliant projects, which I'll show you later, using this technology and Godó. Autonomous agents is all about programming autonomous behaviors for characters in video games, and also for robots as well. So stuff like Boids, behavior trees, finite state machines, pathfinding, all that stuff. And then I make lots of art, infinite forms. Deep is a project I'll show you a slide about, and Yask and Nil. I Am Danny, very cool projects. It's all made in Java and processing for creating art, and it's inspired by a chatbot that was written for the MSX computer all the way back in 1987. And I got to VJ at the MSX Go to 40 in Amsterdam for the 40th birthday of the MSX computer with this project. Many pieces of student work in there as well. I'm also part of the International Gamecraft Foundation. So we've been running game jams for, I think, about 15 years in Ireland and internationally. And that's my GitHub. There's about 300 projects on my GitHub. If anybody's interested, you're welcome to them all. That's my YouTube channel. Keep lots of student project work up there as well. And that's my blog. So that's me. So one other thing I wanted to just talk about is this project called TunePal. So TunePal is the world's leading search engine for Irish traditional music, and this was my PhD. And I released it as an app in 2009, and it's been going for the last 16 years, and it's super popular. It's got around 60,000 active users every month, and what it is you play a tune, and it identifies the tune, and you can keep tune books and so on. And so it's just ubiquitous in Irish traditional music. That's what it looks like there, and that's another thing there. That's TunePal Nua, which we're working on right now. So TunePal Nua is basically a port of the entire TunePal platform. There's about 30,000 music manuscripts in there that you can search. You play a melody, and I think I could give a quick demo. Actually, I can show you the Godó version of TunePal. So this is TunePal Nua, and it was developed actually in collaboration with, this is Lou King. I met Lou King actually at GodotCon 2014, and he reached out to me and said, look, I want to do a project. So we did the Godó port of TunePal. Well, I just want to give a shout out to Lou King. He's not here at this GodotCon, but he's a really cool guy. And I said, do a demo here. Let's see. I should have actually launched my demo. I'll see if this works. If it works, great. This is Godó, and this is the TunePal version of Godó. TunePal Godó here. I have a tin whistle in my hand. And what this is to myself and Lou King, we put this project together. And it is basically, hit F5 here. And this is the Android and iOS version of the app, basically ported to Godó to show you the Godó versatile platform that it is, can be used for lots of different cool things. So I'm going to play a tune on the tin whistle here, and hopefully this program will identify it. Amazing, it worked. I think I deserve a round of applause because it actually works. It's called the Kilmovie Jig. So this is the project. Like, we kind of got a little small team going with a Discord going, and we created this as a complete port of the app basically into Godó. And it even displays the music scores like this. And then you can hit play. I don't know if it's going to come through my computer here. Hey, it's just coming through the computer. But you can hear it plays back the scores. And then also you can add the thing to your tune book and so on as well. So that's TunePal. And that's the Godó port of TunePal, which we're still working on. Now, where are we going here? This one here. It's the other one. Here we go. So that's TunePal. The version that we're working on, and we've been working on this for a while, we've done a prototype of it, and it's basically with holographic musicians that will practice with you and teach with you. So this is a project, we did this, we basically recorded lots of people playing Irish traditional music, and we motion captured them. And so we're trying to create a kind of a virtual session experience. And, and also potentially, this is what we can do now. There are no limits really with Godó, and there's no limits with technology. We can do anything. So potentially we want to bring back musicians and performers from the past who've passed away, and then you can still be able to play with them. So that's what we're working on right now for TunePal. And that's the holographic version, and that's the prototype one there with one of the holograms. So the holograms, we brought them to lots of different festivals. Now, a lot of my talk after, I think a little bit, is going to be mostly pictures and videos of different things my students have done. If you're in Amsterdam and you get the opportunity to go to the Nemo Science Museum, has anyone ever been there? Have you been to the top floor, the body place, right? When you go to the top floor, there's a machine called Breathing Game. And I have to say, I played a small part in the creation of that game. I programmed all of the behaviors for the fish in that one. So that's another cool project that I did. And it's in the Science Museum. So it was a really cool team, Owen Harris and Nikki Schmidt and lots of other people. When I started working on that, I also kind of spun off this other project. And this is all in Unity. And this took me about 5 years to make. And this is called Infinite Forms, and it's a really creative coding project, right? So this is not a game as such. This is just a kind of like a folly, if you like. And I spent a lot of time. It's an infinite 3D generative world with all of these different fish and creatures and stuff that you can interact with. Some of them you can kind of like, you can control. But this is really, I brought this to lots of raves. If anyone who's ever been to a rave, put up your hand. Great. So we do an installation, myself and my collaborator Darren over there at Audio Garden Festival. And we project this work up, for 2 days during the Audio Garden Festival. So that's infinite forms, just to show you that one. So that's just kind of my background, okay? So my use case as a lecturer in a university is maybe different to somebody in industry, right? I'm never shipping games. I'm not too interested in shipping projects, but this is my daily workflow. So my daily workflow is like in-class live coding. I often have to clone hundreds of student repos every year and get the projects working on my own computer. And I have to open the projects. I have to open every single project that my students make. I have hundreds of students every year. And then they have to use it in the labs. They use it in-class tests, student projects, and game jams and competitions. And so for 7 years, I was using Unity. And this was kind of what eventually switched me to Godot. I think I started in Godot 3.4, so I'm a good while, maybe 3-4 years into the Godot realm now. But if you've ever used Unity, you'll be familiar with this. I can't handle this anymore. I'm too old. Maybe a young person could wait around for their game to compile. I'm too old, so I'm not interested, right? Switched everything over to Godot, and now all my modules use Godot. And as I say, I'm going to show you some of the amazing stuff my students have done. I just want to talk a little bit about some inspiration for the way I teach and for how all my modules work. I'm very into this idea of, I get into a flow state when I code. And the flow state, if you know this term, Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi came up with this idea of flow state. That artists, sports people, programmers, whatever, we get into a flow state. And in a flow state, there's no friction. The idea to execution is kind of like frictionless, right? You get in there and, you get into a state where the reward of achieving the thing motivates you to keep working further on it. And Infinite Forms is a great example of that, I didn't really have a set goal, but I just spent years adding bits and whatever to it. The other thing about flow state, very, very important to get students into the flow state when they're learning. Because when students are in flow state, they learn unconsciously. So it's not somebody telling them things. It's like you open the door. I was into this idea of just open the door and let the students teach themselves. And of course, Godot is so good for that one. So what's the next slide here? Cool, excellent. So this is also, just related to flow state as well. You don't want high anxiety, you want high arousal, and also there you go, there's flow. So it's between arousal and control. That's flow in the whole concept of flow state. And this is also a big influence for me. A couple of just, general ones. Who knows who Terence McKenna is? Nobody. Has anyone ever? Cool, a couple of hands go up. Has anyone ever had a psychedelic experience? Cool. So Terence McKenna was a plant botanist who wrote a lot about psychedelics and also about culture and society, and he wrote a very famous essay about virtual reality in 1990, would you believe? He got to try very early virtual reality and had a great vision for what this technology would become. Basically what it is now. This idea that we can share potentially our thoughts, we could communicate telepathically, we can come up with a non-visual language, a way of communicating experience, and actually the communication of the experience becomes the experience itself. So he has this cool quote: the more extreme, inventive, and avant-garde of the VR constructions are likely to resemble experiences with psychedelic plants. And I always look at the MetaQuest store and I wonder why all of the games look very similar and they all have similar gameplay and similar mechanics and stuff. They're shooting things, they're picking things up. Why aren't we having more VR projects that are really this, on the cutting edge of society and art and culture? And one other reference maybe I just throw up is this one. Does anybody know who this person is? Randy Paush? Are there any academics in the room? Lecturers? Super cool. I would think this is a very... I watched this lecture, watched this talk when I started my lecturing career, and this has been such a huge influence on me in my entire life. Randy Paush. And I would encourage everybody to watch this, right? These are Randy Paush's lessons that he describes in this video. Randy Paush was a lecturer in Carnegie Mellon, and he created this Building Virtual Worlds course, which is all about VR. And he gave this lecture in CMU called The Last Lecture, and 2 2 months later, and he knew at the time he passed away of liver cancer. So this is a lecture basically passing on his life lessons. And if you looked at some of them there that I really just love, I often think, when students complain, don't complain, just work harder, and there's a lot of stuff. So everybody, I would encourage you, if nothing else from this talk, you go and watch Randy Paush's The Last Lecture. It's a very, very inspiring, life-changing talk, particularly if you're a lecturer, because it gives you great inspiration and guidance for basically how to be a lecturer. So, okay, the rest of this then is kind of demos. I'll try and get the sound going here, right? I'm going to just go back one thing here, and I'll just see if I can get the sound going through the main speakers here. So these are mostly demos of projects that my students have done. So, and yeah, the rest, they're actually kind of in a random order as well. So, let's see, Shift F5. Cool. So, is there sound? Now, don't worry if there's no sound. There should be sound coming out through HDMI. I've turned it on here. But if it doesn't work, don't worry about it. USB. Okay, cool. No problem. All right, let's see if it works. Yeah, so analog stereo, this one, I guess. Digital output, one of these will do. Let's see. Shift F5. Yay! Cool. All right. One of Randy Paush's concepts was called the head fake. And the head fake is this. It's a very simple idea, really. It's that you teach the students the hard things, but they don't know they're learning the hard things. So you give them things like games to make and music projects to do and storytelling, and then the students go away and essentially open the door and teach themselves. But this is an example of one of the student projects. This is called Sumo Strikers. So this won the national competition. It's called Games Fla. And so this was developed by a team of computer science students over a number of months. So you can imagine the amount of learning that has to go into creating something like this. It's a 4-player couch co-op. This won the Games Fla competition. It was the best game in the competition that year. This is called Sky. The reason why I think this is so cool is because this uses LLMs to power all the characters in the game.
An immersive RPG experience set amidst lush landscapes.
This one best in AI at the Games Fla competition. I'll just put up a little, you can hear a little bit of the talking from the characters. The characters here are powered by LLMs. They're actually using, if you know, a very cool plugin called Nobody Who. Does anybody know that one? It's a way of running LLMs, embedding them inside of the Godó engine.
In uncovering the treasures and venturing back to town. You must convince the town.
Okay, these are the characters that are powered by LLMs.
Increasing order. Julian.
Oh, cheese. Cheesy breezy. Lemon squeezy. I love cheese, but I can only give you 3 for it. What do you say?
Old Man Jenkins.
Young man, what do you take me for?
Battle Axe Nelson.
Ah, a friend, you say? Well, in that case, I reckon I can do 30 for the chips and a couple pints. Deal.
All right, so that's that one. Let's see what we got here. This is, what is this one called? I can't remember, but this was, Segmentation Fault. Fantastic. From the Games Fla that year as well. Again, created by computer science students. There's Kieran over there. You can ask Kieran any questions you want about Sumo Strikers because he's the developer. And he's here. So this is a VR game. These are developed by second-year computer science students with no experience whatsoever. And as I say, you give them the opportunity to do a competition. And, very often they will completely excel expectations, as in the case of this. This is as opposed to giving a small programming assignment. Students can go away for months, work on this thing, and get academic credit for it. Let's see what we have here. These are kind of random. Now, I teach extended reality, so a lot of the projects are going to be XR projects. So this is all about recycling and learning about the UN sustainability goals, which was the students' assignment work in the last semester. So what have they got to do here? I think this is about sorting litter into different, categories. And then once I think you put the litter in, then it's, there we go. You got to put something in. Different categories of litter. Yeah, there you go, into the different bins. So this was an assignment. The assignment actually was all about the UN sustainability goals, to make immersive pass-through projects using, all about the sustainability goals. So a great way to raise awareness about the UN sustainability goals as well. So let's see what we got next. This is Anteric. This is Games Flaw Prize winner 2025. So this won the National InterVarsity Games Flaw competition last year. And it's called Anteric. And again, created by computer science students in second year. And they got academic credit for it. This is months of work, as you can imagine. You know, you give students a small task. They go away, they do it in an evening. They're going to get a certain learning outcome. An opportunity like this gives the students, I feel these students could build a rocket, you know, or design a car. They have the collaboration, the teamwork skills, and the design and so on. So that's Anteric. What have we got here? Holographic musical instruments. So this was the assignment for my extended reality class a couple of years ago. And what we have is these holographic musical instruments. Probably a couple of these are going to come up. But again, it's kind of the idea here is that we're using gaming technology and game engines to create non-game applications. And in particular with this pass-through capability now, I think the opportunities in XR in education, you know, lots of universities now are getting funding to buy headsets, and they need something to, you know, to teach their students with. So everybody wants to do XR projects. We need to get into the education market. There's great opportunity. So this is, as I say, one of my fourth year students created a super cool musical instrument. And lots of stuff you can do with it. What have we got next? This again, these are the sustainability ones. But what's really cool here is there's basically maps of all 5 TU Dublin campuses. And they're all rendered there. You can walk around. Lots of students. This is a very cool project. This project I developed with 2 interns last summer from, let's see, who were last year's ones? I'll think of them in a minute. Right, I should know that. I should have written them down. I had 2 interns last summer. We developed this thing. It's all about teaching people about the sustainability goals as well. This is Godó hand tracking pass-through project. And we use these lightweight headset sort of configurations. These were at all 5 TU Dublin campus. Thousands of people have experienced this project. And, you know, so it's been inductions, open days, and so on. Now, this student took the core projects, this was their assignment, and added a whole load of sustainability and, you know, power production, different systems of power production across all the different campuses. And, you know, you can basically transform them, you know, to use renewable energy. And you can see what happens then is the clouds, the smoke clears up and stuff. So, also little spaceship flying around that you can interact with your hands, and that's the Godó plushie there as well. Isn't that cool? So this was an assignment, you know, so this is like a 1 semester assignment. I feel the standard that students can achieve with Godó is exceptional because of this low friction thing and because it runs on all the low-end student laptops and stuff. So, that's that one. Let's see what we got next. What we got here is a drum kit. Excellent. So this is full VR. Super cool. And you can set a BPM here as well. And I think it gives you a backing beat and then you can play. So this was a 4th year student, Lovely Fernandez, I think was the name of the student who created this one. Super cool. Now, this is one of the current generation. The current 4th year students are coming through right now, and they've done some amazing projects. So this is Jello Saramento's project. He's in 4th year right now. Just submitted, they all submitted their work yesterday for the project fair in TU Dublin. And what is this? Such a brilliant idea. You know, I don't really know how to use Blender, or I mean, I know it's probably not as hard as it looks, but I kind of like the idea of being able to sculpt and craft things in a 3D environment, and particularly in XR. So that's what Jello invented for his final year project. And this uses, I'm sure you all know, the CSG nodes. So the CSG nodes are wonderful for, like, you know, generatively or procedurally creating geometry. And so using this software, then Jello was able to export the models and then 3D print them. So you can start out with a design in XR and you can 3D print. There's a huge amount of functionality in this project as well. And then that's what your model comes out as afterwards. And it's got pass-through capability as well. So you start out with your geometric primitives, cubes and spheres and so on, and you composite or combine your 3D object together. Yeah, so we've got vertex building as well. So I think this creates out of vertices, it will create a 3D object. Hey, there we go. So you got a mesh from the vertices that you create. Now, can I just ask, how many people would this be useful for? Definitely. Super useful to know how to do this as well. Like this, low friction. So you're doing everything in the real world. You get a sense of scale and so on. That's Yellow's project. Now, this is Caesar Hannon's final year project. This project won the best project prize yesterday at our project fair at TU Dublin. Big up to Caesar Hannon. This project is very, very comprehensive implementation of a CDJ. So if you know what a CDJ is, it's what a DJs use basically to mix music together at raves. And he modeled this on the Pioneer CDJ. So it has all the functionality of the Pioneer CDJ in a virtual format. So I'll let this play because it's quite a cool project and there's lots of really advanced features. You can see number one, everything is hand tracking, no controllers. You just put your headset on and you have access to a piece of hardware that would normally cost at least hundreds of euro. Thousands possibly. And also it integrates with lots of sources of audio as well. So as you can see, this uses the Godó audio system, which is, in my opinion, very powerful. And you can add loads of real-time effects. And you can real-time mix and do BPM adjustments and so on in this project. And this is the last very cool thing. I guess everybody knows Godó's localization capabilities are very, very easy to use. So you can take your Godó project and localize it into many different languages quite easily. And this is localized into the Irish language, into English, into French, and into Chinese as well. So this is on GitHub. I think I'll be able to put all the links together for these at the end of the talk. But also, this is open source. So you can get the source code to this. And, that's what it looks like inside the Godó engine. And it's free. So you can download it on itch. And also, you can get the source code for nothing. As I say, well done, Caesar, who won the academic prize at the project fair yesterday. So the best project. So that's Caesar's project. Let's see what we've got here. This is Mariam's project, and this is all about learning the piano. So with this, you're presented with a music score, and you play real notes on the piano. The headset microphone picks up the notes that you play and identifies the notes and then keeps you in track with the melody. And so this uses a little bit of audio analysis. So it's doing like the FFT on the audio to figure out if the person is playing the right sound. Super cool. Let's see what we got here. So this is something you can download after this talk, and I'll put a link up. This is just the Godó hand tracking starter kit that I've created, and it has a few simple interactions like this, buttons that you can hit with your hands. There's also sliders and toggle buttons, and there's an example of audio recording, which Julian, whose talk was earlier, did all the amazing work on Android microphone input recently, and now we're able to use this inside of our Godó projects on the Quest, because it's obviously running Android. Bounce it around in and a little rigid body thing that you can move around through the environment there as well. Let's see what we got next. So this is another one of the sustainability projects. So I like this one because it's quite a large environment, and as you can see in this project here, it starts out with lots of smoke and whatever around the environment, pollution. And what you have to do in this city is you have to basically take, for example, the gas, and you have to change the gas into a renewable energy source. And as you progress through the experience, the environment clears. So, this is a great way to do gameplay, storytelling, education, raising awareness, and so on. And as you can see, as you go through the project, then, different things happen. Plants are going to grow and stuff. That's the wind power. Super cool. So this was a 1 semester assignment for a student. Super cool. Let's see what we got here. So I teach creative coding, and I think I can show you my creative coding repo in a minute, but one of my students sent me this, and I'm very happy to include it here. So isn't this amazing, everybody? What is going on here? Do you know what this is on the screen? Game of Life. Yeah, so this is Conway's Game of Life mapped onto music notes. So we did the music note stuff. We use I have all these on my Git repo. We use one of the Godó MIDI player libraries, the one that uses sound fonts, and then you can play any note really on any instrument. So the student has created the interface here for changing notes and so on, and you know, every step through the game of life, depending on if a cell is lit or not lit, it's going to play a note. Let's listen to it for a bit. Unreal. So this is what creative coding is about, you know, Conway's game of life, learning about 2D arrays, iterating, and then learning about color and sound. So a great example. Now, what have we got here? Yes, we have VR Loop Station here. So this was Edward Dravinkas' project, as far as I know. Hopefully it's going to...
What should have been there for the demo. So I'll put it on.
Okay, cool. So this particular student, very cool student. Oh, maybe this isn't the latest version. This is an old video. I'm so sorry, Edward. I need to get your proper up-to-date video. So you guys can try Edward's project at our booth. This isn't the latest video. I downloaded the wrong one. Edward is into, what do you call it? Beatboxing. Don't even do beatboxing in the room. So beatboxing is all about making melodies and music notes with your voice. So this is not the latest version, but basically Edward's project, you can record yourself and then loop yourself and then add effects and then pitch shift and so on in real time. It's a super cool project. Now this is probably the big full show reel video, but this was my first Godó project. And this was, I think I can even show you this project as well. This is called Miniature Rotary Phone, and this is on GitHub if you're interested. Hey, this is all from the showreel video here. So that first project there, Miniature Rotary Phone, I think I can show you that in a minute. But that is essentially autonomous behaviors for artificial life. Now, that's all the showreel video. I've got pictures here. Cool. This is Coffee Bean, created by first-year game design students, an amazing group of first-year game design students, as a game jam project, but it's a very, very polished, very cool game. So it's a cozy game where you have to basically create, you know, coffee. Cool. Let's see what we got next. Now, I've put random videos in here as well. This is just one of my videos just to show you. I think this is the one. Yeah. Do you know that Godó runs on an XR headset natively? And the experience is very good. For me, as a person who is, my eyesight is not as good as it used to be, and I have to wear reading glasses, I find when I wear the Quest and I have the big screen projected up in front, I find that I'm very able to read the text very clearly. And also, you can run Termux. So you can run a Linux, a Bash shell. So I think I'm cloning a Git repo here, opening a project in this whole thing. I might not be able to show you the whole video, but I'm going to now open the project, run the thing in Godó, and actually what you have is a hologram. So this is one of the motion captured holograms. And motion captured holograms, what is really cool then is you can actually go into Godó and you can move them around inside the Godó editor on the headset, and they actually move around the room around you. So the first time, you know, sometimes I get emotional when I use this software because I'm so amazed at what it can do. This is one of those examples where, like, as I say, this is like editing reality, you know? This is like editing the real world. I think I'll just leave this one because it is quite cool. And I don't know how to skip forward in LibreOffice on the videos. So I'll just leave it running there for a minute, and I'll play with you on the hologram maybe. While that is working, this is Square Wave, play music with holograms. I'll play you a little note or two. Okay, that's the boot up. We'll just have to leave it. Cool, but you can see I'm running Godó natively on the headset here. So this was a little demo I wanted to have of, you know, just the capabilities. My plan actually for this is to get 25 of these headsets with no keyboard and mouse, because you can project the keyboard and mouse onto a flat surface, and these can be brought anywhere. You can bring them into a class of, for example, high school students and teach a course on XR development, and they don't need to install anything. They don't even need a computer. So, okay, I'll just let this hit the play button there, Brian. I should have edited this one. Cool, that battery's dead. So yeah, what you can see here is hopefully if this is going to run, Ryan. What I wanted to kind of show here is that you can edit the scene as the actual XR experience is running around you. And the actual hologram, you see there's the hologram over the other side of the room? I moved it in the editor and it moved from one side of the room to the other, you know? So that's incredible technology. And, you know, back in the day when we did programming in college and stuff, we didn't have access to anything like this. You know, so what can we do with this? It's so wild. This is the Terence McKenna thing, you know, where we can, you know, they're more like psychedelic experiences. So my colleague Hugh McCabe in one of our sister campuses also teaches with Godó, and in the first semester he was teaching environment building and environment modeling with it. So the students had to create the closing scene in a movie or a scene in a movie. So this is the students basically created a scene from the movie Children of Men here. So this is the closing scene recreated in Godó. And the students here, I guess they're learning lighting, they're learning environment design as well. So cool. Let's see what else we got here. Press to enter. Now we're in some dark area. Something else is going to happen. Cool. Let's see what we got next. Oh my goodness. Does anybody here know how to play pool? Has anyone ever potted a ball in pool? Is there anyone here who's crap at pool? Okay, so I play pool from time to time and I always lose, right? My student Lee Cox developed this technology. So this is, you wear the XR headset, and the XR headset is analyzing the pool table in real time to show you what shots to take, and then projecting on top these lines. Watch this. So, you know, the lines get projected on top of the thing, and then you take the shot and the ball goes in every time. So this is, I guess a pool shooter thing. This won the project prize last year. So this was the best project prize last year. So this is, you know, Godó it's winning a lot of awards, or at least the students are finding incredible ways to use this technology. You know, as they say, this is bringing the gaming engine out of the game, and it's bringing it into the real world and hopefully solving real world problems. So the last bit of this then, I think, is just pictures, and then I'll show you a few projects. This is Blake Tannehill, my intern, who helped me work on the project with the holograms. That's Vicky Lee. Vicky and Michael, they run Gamecraft, which I think I have a slide or two on Gamecraft. And this is also just some of the events that we've brought our projects to. This is from Dublin Maker. These are random pictures, by the way. So this is, these are the holograms at Dublin Maker. Huge engagement, right? Massive queues of children every year for the last 2 years to try our projects. And it's really cool as well. We got lots of cool pictures. You can see what the student's actually seeing here is a hologram that's sitting on the chair there. And yeah, cool. These are from Dublin Maker. Oh yeah, this is just to say I also teach yoga to my students. So just in the general interest of how many people do yoga here? Put up your hands. Great job. If you want to maintain a long career in the digital industry, I recommend start yoga and do it every day. It's super cool. This is, as I say, the configuration of headset that we use. You can see this is what the holograms look like. So this is taken off the headset, and there's two of the first year. They're actually in second year now. They're from the Think course. That's my PhD supervisor, Professor Brendan O'Shea, founder of the School of Computer Science. They're trying all this cool technology out. Another hologram. This is me running a Godó workshop for staff, teaching people how to create things. This is us, I think, at probably GodotCon. Yep. Super cool. And that's us. You know the guy in the middle and the guy at the end? Who are they? That's one. And that's Nicola Farnetti from W4 Games there as well. And I do a lot of work with schools, so I just have some pictures of things with schools here as well. So yeah, this is when we bring stuff out to, this is Howth Primary School. And so I bring the headsets out and, you know, just try to introduce them, trying to get them to be creative with computer science and creative with their projects. This is from the End Shooter Showcase. So this is a national showcase. Again, we brought loads of projects there. This is taken straight from the headset. These are all 3D models generated with AI. And so they're just loaded up onto Godó and then projected around the environment so people can experience them. This is Hazel Farrell from SETU, absolutely wonderful lecturer. And Hazel runs the Sustainability in the Arts Festival. Myself and Darren got to go to that last year and run Godot workshops and Blender workshops for the students there. So yeah, my headsets, when you have these cool design of headsets, they get everywhere. Everyone's taking pictures of them with the banners and whatever. And yeah, they're all over the social media. So I meant to move these slides right to the beginning. One of the things that I do as well is this GameCraft thing. And GameCraft is these 8-hour, one-day game jams. These are just some pictures from the last 5, but 10 minutes left. Great. I'm going to finish soon. I thought I wouldn't have enough, and now it actually seems I have too much. So this is us at the Games Vlog competition, winning prizes. Godó Gaedhleach t-shirts all around. And this is some of the founders of Godó Gaedhleach are here. That's Michael over there. He's a brilliant guy, helped us to found. This is us at GDC, guerrilla style, showcasing our projects. A little hologram there in San Francisco. That's me and GDC as well. And this is our workshop on sustainable thingies. And that's sustainability in the arts. Sustainability in the arts. This is me doing a demo of Tumpal Nua. And this is the Tumpal Dream Team here. This is actually the team that developed the sustainability project. You know, so that's Matteo and it's Matteo. Oh, do you remember their names? It was Matteo and I can't remember the other guy's name. That's Darren there, my best buddy. And Darren and myself, actually, we share the same birthday, even though, yeah, we share the same birthday. Tumpal, super popular all over Ireland. Everybody uses it. And I think the new one is going to be super popular. Now, actually, we are running out of time and I want to leave some time for questions. This is from Audio Garden Festival. So one other thing I do is create art with Godó. And so what's happening here is there's a Godó project running. It's sent into OBS, it's composited, reflected, and so on, up and down. And we project it up for 2 days at Audio Garden Festival, 23rd and 24th of August, if anybody's coming. And so this is the work that we project, you know. So and last year was the first year we used Godó in our projections. So this work that you see in the background is Godó, and then composited them with OBS. That's a picture of me, as I say, live VJing. And often I take the stream from the headset camera then and VJ with it as well. More kids stuff. Oh yeah, Dublin Maker. So we have a big installation at Dublin Maker Festival. And this year we had the robot dog as well. Now I have some really beautiful pictures here. But also we had the 2 headsets going with our Godó projects, running non-stop for 2 days with a queue of students. And there we go, some Dublin Maker pictures. That's a picture of Quest STG. That's another one. There's a picture of a member of GodotCon trying out our projects. And here we go. That's Bryan Gormley, Head of Sustainability Education in the university. This is the Cyberdelic Hackathon. Cyberdelics, combining psychedelics and virtual reality. So this is a great group that run out of Berlin, and they had a hackathon there the 8th and 9th, and I think their first version. Do you know who this guy is? I'd say you do. Now? Huh? Yeah, that's Bracky's. So that's Bracky's we met at, and Bracky's got to try our project as well. Now, I think we're running close. That's the president of our university. That's Dr. Deirdre Lillis, president of our university. I'm very honoured that she was able to try my project. It was great. Deirdre was once head of our school, and that's me on one of the school visits again. And yeah, last thing, maybe we had our first Godó Gaedhleach meetup, which is basically a student-led group to sort of promote the idea of using Godó. If you're in the academic world, you know that unity really prevails. I mean, and there's lecturers have been teaching it. They started their course 20 years ago. They don't want to change. So I personally feel in academia, we should only use open source tools and teach them, you know? And so I kind of got this group going to sort of promote the idea. And I have all my courses using Godó. And I feel it's the type of thing that, as I say, you give to students, it opens the door and you can do anything with it. Like there are no limits, right down to the access to the source code and stuff. So just a few pictures from our first in-person meetup, and that is Casper Frandon from W4 Games, who spoke at our first in-person Godó Gaedhleach meetup, and we got some t-shirts printed and stuff. And this is me doing a demo of this project, which I don't know if I'll have time, but how much time? I mean, nearly finished? 5 minutes? I want to have a question or two, right? But this is me doing a demo of SquareWave, and I think I'll be able to show you. This is what the project looks like. So this is actually, in my opinion, this is my best ever project. I've made so many cool things in my life. This thing is going to end all wars. This is going to cause world peace to break out. People in the future are just going to meet up and have SquareWaves. That's what I'm calling them. So the technology we've developed, myself and Darren, basically, you have holographic musical instruments projected around you. You play them all with your hands. hands. So there's no friction, no controllers, no buttons required. You just wave your hands around, and you can also program in melodies and program in beat patterns and stuff. You can create incredible complexity of music. The headsets actually sync up with each other. So if you have 4 or 5 people, they all play together, and all of their beats line up within a few milliseconds. It's very difficult to develop that. And also, it's translated into Irish as well. So we did this at the Crackathon, Irish language hackathon, and that's a picture of me playing the flute, with my headset on, running the project. And what else have we got here? This is just giving a demo of Squarewave then to some visiting students, and I can't remember what that is. That was the Sustainability Education Student Conference. So, and then I think we're wrapping up pretty soon. This is our group, Godó Gaedhleach. This is the Discord if anybody's interested in joining from it's an Irish Godot Users Group. We hope to produce a version of Godot in the Irish language and make it available for high school students, and then also align it with the Irish Leaving Cert curriculum so that the students can do projects in Irish. I think this is going to revive the Irish language in a way, because imagine like in 5 years' time, there's thousands of games made in Irish at Game Jams. So that's our group, and this is me, and you can find me on my blog there as well. Now, I think I could just play a note here, and I'll wrap up. So that's kind of it for me, everybody. Thank you very much for your attention. That's it. Check me out there.